Hi, well, my name's Martin. I'm just going to share a testimony of how I came to know Jesus and what he's done in my life. It kind of all started when I was a kid, and me, my brother David, my twin brother, my two sisters Marie and Jenny, and my mum and dad, we all lived in Coventry, which is where I was born. That's where I'm from. And there was one distinct point when my dad, we all had to move because of my dad's business, and the business was going really well, and we moved into this bigger house. It was all really nice, the business was going well and all that kind of stuff. But then there was a point where my dad ended up going bankrupt, so it meant that we as a family had nowhere to live, no house, yeah, no money basically, and quite a stressful time for my parents, you know, having 4 kids to look after with no money and no house. So we ended up moving back to Coventry, and we moved in with my grandma, who's my mum's mum, and this was good, you know, I really enjoyed it there. All 4 of us kids shared a room, which was quite a small room, so it's quite, you know, quite close quarters with everyone, but it's I really enjoyed it. It was great, and we ended up living there from the age of about 6. That's when we moved in there, or maybe 7. Yeah, about 7. Sorry. So when we moved there, it meant that we started going to a different school. So we started going to this school, which happened to be a Church of England school. And at the Church of England school they'd have assemblies and different things like that. And there's one assembly on a Friday morning, and me and my bro walked into the assembly, and there's this guy who was there talking about Jesus. And at first we thought, oh, this is quite interesting, and by the end of it we actually thought, yeah, this is really cool. So we ended up going home that day and asking Mum if we could go to church, because we thought it'd be really good. So she was like, yeah, no problem, yeah, I think that'd be really good. She wasn't against it, which is amazing really. So we went to church that Sunday, and it was really good, like, you know, good fun. It was a family service, so there happened to be some people there from my school which I knew, which was really nice. You know, building friendships straight away, just getting kind of plugged in with people, and yeah, it's really good. There was an older band that played at the church, and they were some of the youth in the church, which we all really looked up to, because they were about 5 years older than us, and we just thought they were amazing. And they played in this band for the church, so they played church songs and stuff like that, and we thought, God, it'd be so great if we could do our own thing, like set up our own little church band. So me and my bro, a friend on guitar and a friend on keys, I was singing and my bro played the drums, and we decided to set up our own little church band. So we got together one day and we rehearsed in my parents' back garden shed, and basically, although it went well, we had the noise abatement come round telling us that it was too loud and we needed to be quiet, otherwise we'd get in big trouble. So basically it meant we had nowhere to rehearse, and we wanted to get this thing going and start practicing. And the vicar's wife, she said to us, well, you can just come in and use the church hall on a Sunday night if you want. So we're like, great, we've got somewhere to rehearse, which was brilliant. So we did that we started that when we were about 12 or 13, something like that. My brother, he started getting drum lessons from a tutor outside of church, a private drum tutor, and because we didn't have a bass player, that's when I decided to pick up the bass. And around 14, 15, that's when I bought my first bass guitar, my first amp, and started to play bass guitar for the church band, which was great. I loved it, I loved playing bass. And so we started doing that, started playing on Sunday mornings sometimes, different things like that. And we probably did that for about 3 or 4 years, up until I was about 18, so we played regularly within the church band. And although we were playing in the church band, like, looking back, like, although it was a church thing, God didn't actually mean that much to me. Like, it was just something I did because it was just good fun to hang out with my friends and play a bit of music. But deep down, like, God didn't mean that much to me at all. Like, I'd learn about it on a Sunday morning and stuff and different things like that, but it wasn't real to me. Like, it was just a thing we did because it was nice and there was nice people there and I could hang out with my friends. But yeah, deep down, like, God wasn't real to me. And so at that kind of age, that's when, you know, you just started getting involved with friends, like partying and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I wasn't a massive partier or a massive drinker, but it was still something that I got involved with a bit, and it was something that was slowly drawing away from me from the church, you know. And it was around that point where my brother, we were both at a very similar point in our lives, but at that particular point for him, he went to a Christian music school in Coventry called Nexus, which is an academy of music ministry. This was when I started my A-levels, so when I started my year, Dave actually went to Nexus and didn't do his A-levels, and he spent a year just learning to play drums, learning more about God because it was a Christian music school. But at the same time for him, even though he was surrounded by that kind of thing, like, God wasn't real to him, you know. It was cool because he got to learn to play the drums and play them pretty much every day. So whilst he did his year at Nexus, I was carrying on my A-levels at school. And then after his year at Nexus, he got an invite to go to a school of worship in America. And basically he didn't really know what he was going to, but he got offered this scholarship to go and play drums in America for a year. Didn't really know anything else about it. That was about it. So Dave ended up going out to go on this school, music school, but he didn't really know what he'd let himself in for. He ended up being immersed by all these people and just seeing such a genuine heart and love for God, which really captivated him, and he wanted it, you know. And it came to a point where he experienced that. Now for me, I was still back in Coventry doing my A-levels in my second year, and you know, I'd have phone conversations with my brother, and although he was David on the other side of the phone, I could just tell there was something different about him. I don't know what it was. Like, he was just full of like light and energy. It's hard to explain, but there's just something about him, and I was like, man, I really want that. So I ended up going out to visit him whilst he was in America, and whilst he was out there, when I actually saw him, there was just something about him which was so different to how I'd seen him before. Like, he was still Dave, my bro, but he was, yeah, it's like he was just full of kind of like this big light coming from him. I really don't know how else to explain it, but it was amazing. And I came away from that time, I just, having been out and visited him, just seeing this genuine change that had occurred in his life, like, it just made me really want it. So but I didn't really know how to go about it. And the year after finishing my A-levels, I knew that although I thought it'd be good for me to go out and do the school of worship, I knew that I needed to go and do Nexus as well, which is what my brother had previously done. So after I finished my A-levels, I went to study at Nexus, which is a Christian music college, as I mentioned, and I studied bass for a year, so I got bass lessons every day, you know, Bibles teaching, all that kind of stuff. And it was really great, but still at the same time, like, it didn't fill that void that was in my life. Like, I just so genuinely wanted God, but I didn't know how to go about it. Like, I didn't find what I was looking for, you know, at that particular point in my life. And you know, at the same time, even though I was at this Christian music college, you know, I was still, you know, going out partying, you know, getting drunk occasionally, you know, quite a hypocritical lifestyle, you know. There's me saying that I was a Christian, but at the same time doing things which wasn't right. And so that's the kind of lifestyle I was living during Nexus. And then after Nexus had finished, like, I just knew that I was meant to go and do the School of Worship as well. So I applied to do the School of Worship, got on, went and started in that September after Nexus, and I arrived in America on the Monday. This was in September, starting on the school. I arrived on the Monday, started school on the Tuesday. I got baptised in water on Wednesday, baptised in the Holy Spirit on the Thursday, and then on the Friday was just a normal school day. So yeah, the gospel was just explained to me in a way which completely made sense. Like, I understood that God sent his son Jesus to die for me, to die for all the things that I've done wrong. You know, the penalty that I deserved for those things was death, you know, but God sent his son to take that place for me. And I just had such a realisation of that, that ever since then, ever since that first week of being in America and understanding that, like, it's completely changed my life. And you know, that first week was amazing because I just kind of put into practice all the things I'd kind of known vaguely for such a long time. Like, I knew about being baptised in water, but I never did it. I knew about, well, kind of knew about baptism in the Holy Spirit, but not really understanding what it actually was. But it's only when I went to America I understood what it was, and I experienced it. You know, I experienced being filled with the Holy Spirit, and you know, that was such a key thing for me, because up until that point it's like I was just striving to be this good Christian in my own strength, but you can't do it in your own strength. And having experienced being filled with the Holy Spirit, it was such a it's such an indescribable feeling that it was amazing at the same time. Like, I recommend it to anyone. But yeah, ever since that point I know what it is to be in a relationship with God, and the School of Worship year was such a great year for me to just be able to like deepen my relationship with God and deepen my relationship with Jesus. And you know, it was amazing. And you know, since finishing the School of Worship I came back to England and just knew it wasn't right to kind of stay at my old church, so I just knew that I was meant to come and be a part of the church plant here. So I moved within a week of coming back from America to England, and I managed to get a job as a postman straight away, which is good for paying the bills. Yeah, since moving here, it's been great, because like, I know that I'm not walking this life on my own anymore. Like, God is right beside me, and he's amazing. Like, the fact that he died for me has completely changed my life, and I pray that you'll come into a revelation of that too. Thank you.